Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Dan's Grand Valley Railroad. Sorry I've been away so long. As most of you know, I recently retired, so I was spending a little bit of time out in sunny Southern California. Just relaxing a little bit, just because I could. And back in Colorado now. So this week we're going to do part 2 of the Roomettes building. We're actually working on the Valley Apartments, as you remember. It goes right there on the layout. Just to recap, we did the Mongillo Jewelers a few videos ago. And I also bought a roomette for this building here, which we'll be doing at another time. But right now, let's head over to the bench and I'll show you what I've got going on. Okay, so as you know, last time I got the roomettes glued up and put together. Got the building here. Now, what I did, which I didn't show you on camera, was I decided to put some furniture in there so you can see the little bed. And that's just a piece of foam poster board that I got from the dollar store at some point. And I just cut it. It has cardboard on both sides of a foam layer. So it kind of looked to me like a blanket or quilt on there. So I just painted the mattress like a brown color, and then I had some red. And that's just a piece of 16th inch foam sheet there for the pillow. Not sure how much you're going to see of this, but it is kind of a neat feature. I've also got, let's see, I did one here too on this bedroom. Kind of the same thing. In retrospect, I could have put the bed up on little feet, but to be honest, I really don't know how much you're going to see through these little windows. So I didn't go into too much detail, other than this one is a green color with a pillow. Now, my friend TV Toms, he's one of my dedicated subscribers. He put some people in his rooms. In fact, in this room, he's got a lady standing there and then somebody sitting on the bed. I happen to have this little guy here, and I thought I could have him sort of resting on the bed. I can't do it here on camera, but have him, he almost looks like he's sitting back or playing, like, you know, kind of on the bed, and this could be in this bedroom here. This is more of a kid's bedroom, but I don't know. I'll just figure out which one I want him in. I did find a guy walking that I had. I got some figures several months ago, and I can't remember now. They weren't Woodland Scenics. I think they were Atlas, and the people are just too big. I mean, that guy's huge. He's just a tall guy. And I've got some other people in there. Let's see if I have them here. I mean, this guy, I think I touched on this before. This guy is really, really tall. So is this guy here. Compared to other regular Woodland Scenics people, I mean, this guy would hardly fit in there. So, that being said, this guy was the shortest of them, so I thought I could have him there walking into that room. So what I'm doing right now is letting that guy glue up there, and then I'm going to determine where these go in the building. And if you remember, I wrote on the back, so second floor front, so that's going to go there. This is the main floor guy, I think. Main floor front, so he'll go right underneath. And one of them's in the back, which is kind of, you're not going to really see it the way I have it in my layout, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in the back. It'll be in this back corner, actually, right here. And I'm going to do that because if I ever change things around on my layout, change my downtown area, it might be visible. So we'll go ahead and do that. There really isn't another combination of windows that it would work in, so that's where it's going to go. Now you can see I left some of the shades that I had done previously on the building, and I've got one here, and I believe I'm going to put another one in here, and I have one on the back, couple on the back and on the sides. Those are basically not going to be seen rooms, so no reason not to have shades in them. That way you won't see in and see the wiring and the stuff for the roomettes. So that's why I left those in there. So after determining where they go, before I go ahead and start gluing them into the building, we're going to take the LED lights that come in the kit and glue them to the tops of each of the buildings. Or the rooms. They each have a little spot for them. And we'll get those glued in. Then we'll dry fit everything and make sure it's all going to work. And then we'll start gluing them in to the building. Now, pretty much for this job, I'm using the Elmer's Glue All, and I like it because it gets pretty tacky pretty quickly. Now, I also have a tacky glue, turbo tacky glue, which might actually be a little bit better deal. It might get tackier a little faster, but this gives you time to work with it, and it holds just fine gluing the paper tabs to the plastic buildings. So we'll just go ahead and stick with the Elmer's. And what I'm doing, as you can see, I put a little bead right around that hole on that building. And I'm just going to do the same thing here. And trying to do that with one hand, not too much. Don't need very much. Now, the reason I'm doing this, you can use CA glue. You can use, pretty much anything you want. You could use epoxy. But this worked for me last time, and it's pretty forgiving. So if I make a mistake, or let's say one of the lights burns out, or I need to make some changes, I can pull them and easily replace them or whatever I need to do. Now, I always keep these little foam Q-tips around, little swabs. I got a little extra right here. Doesn't really matter. Nobody's ever going to see any of this stuff once it's in the building. So, all right. That looks good. That's just my attention to detail here, kind of how I roll. All right, so we're going to let that just get a little bit tacky. Oh, I also put a little bit on this little guy's seat right here, and I decided he's going in the front bedroom. That is like a parent's bedroom or something. So he's going to be playing on the parent's bed. And the reason I did that, if I put him in the kids' room, it won't be seen because that's the back corner of the building. So this one will be here, and we'll have a good chance at seeing him, peeking in the windows and seeing him. So that's why I decided to do that. Letting him get tacky, letting these get tacky just about 3-4 minutes. Then I'll get these lights here. You can see how they are. They're a little square. The LED, it's a warm white LED on a little PC board. So I'm just going to put them right in to each of the squares and let them glue in there. I'll hold it and tack it just a minute till it stays. And then we'll let that dry real good, because when we're putting these rooms in the building, we're going to have those wires hanging out. And if it's not glued well, you can imagine they're going to be popping out, and everything's going to be twice as hard. So it's always good to just get them in there and get them set and glued the way you want them. So let's let this set up, and then we'll get these glued in, and then we'll touch back with ya. So I went away for a couple of hours after gluing those in there, and they are nice and solid. You can pull the wires, and they're not going to come out of there. So there's the little guy. Got him there on the bed. He's kind of rolling back on the bed, and all I tried to do, you can see the square at the top there where the light is. I just sort of made sure that, you know, if you would look in there, it's square like a light fixture would be in any room. You know, I didn't want it to be crooked or anything. So I just glued them in there squarely, and just checking them all out, making sure they're glued in tight, which they all seem to be here. So very good. So now we're going to start with the one that goes on the 3rd floor in the back corner. So you obviously want to work from the top of the building down to the floor, because once you have something glued in there, you're not going to be able to get back to it when things are glued in down at the bottom. So let's find the one. This is the 3rd floor rear, as I have here. That's the bedroom that goes in this back corner. it's interesting. It goes in like this. So here's a window opening that matches this window, and then you'll see in that window, so it actually will go in there like that. So let's fit that in there and just dry fit it, and then we'll go ahead and talk about gluing it in. All right, so I just have it in there where it goes, and I'm just holding it in with my fingers, and I'm basically pushing it up into the ceiling. So now what you can see is by me having it all the way up at the ceiling, there's a bit of that room showing through the window, so it needs to be lowered just a little bit. Let me see if I can do this without having to get my tripod out. So you want to be sure that none of it is blocking the window, and it'll be easier to see once the light is on in there. But that's basically how it goes. So I have it pressed into that back corner with my fingers, back up in there. And it's, none of the white part is showing through the window, and it's clear. So that's how the first one will go. So I'm gonna go ahead and get glue on the little tabs here, say where it says glue to wall, glue to wall. So I'm gonna put a little bead of glue right on both of those, and then I'll put it back up in there and hold it for a minute until that glue sets, just gets tacky. Then we'll move on to the next one. All right, just like that, you can see the beads of glue. So now it's just to push it in there and hold it in place. And just a little note, while we're waiting for this glue here to just get a little bit tacky, if you can see, I put a little piece of clear tape right on the back there of it. Let's see if I can get it to focus, to hold that wire down. So this way, the wire will be facing downward in the building instead of wanting to stick straight out. It'll help me hold it in there in place a little bit better. Okay, I just held it in there until I got it to tack a little bit, and you can see it sitting in there. You can see the white glue. I used my fingers and just kind of smoothed it around there, and that'll tack it real nice when that dries. And you can see that there's no part of the white cardboard showing through the windows. And so that one's pretty set to go. It's a good idea at this point to let it dry for a little while, because we're going to be putting these other ones in, and if it's not dry, I can so easily move that out of the way, and then when I'm trying to glue in these other ones and they get out of place, you're not going to be able to reach up in there to reposition that. So let it dry for at least 10-15 minutes, let it set, and then we'll move on to the other ones. All right, here's the second one, second floor that's in there. And this one was just to make sure that, nothing was obscuring the windows from the front, make sure that the level looked right. So the floor was, about where it needs to be for the height of the windows and that kind of stuff. Just pressed it in there. You can see the glue, just pressed it down, and that tacky glue works great. You just give it about 2 minutes and it's pretty tacky. You slide it in there, set it down, and it just holds. So we'll let that dry for a little while, and then I'll do the bottom two. There's two that go on the bottom floors. Okay, I've got them all in. The ones here on the front are upside down now, but that's why you want to make sure that they're set good before you do the last one. And I've got this one here, which is the pantry, and it's right inside the back door of the building, so that'll be there. So we're just going to set this aside now and let it dry. Now, a couple of things I wanted to do. The building kit doesn't call for them, but there were some extra pieces in the city and industry set that are cast pieces. This is a roof hatch, and this is a roof vent, and I'm going to paint them and put them, get them glued on top of the building just for some extra realism. I think that's pretty neat. This is a little roof hatch, so where, you know, a ladder or a stairway, a guy can come up for maintenance. And I'm also going to dig up my light hub, because we're going to want, as soon as this is dry, we're going to want to plug in these 4 lights, make sure they work, and make sure that the building is lit up and see how it looks. So I've got one more light hub that I've got somewhere that I've got to hook up, and then we can test it out and see how the building looks. So let me get that all rounded up, get these painted and glued on, and then we'll come back. These should be set and dry, and we'll plug it in and see what we've got. All right, let me take a second and just explain the Woodland Scenics Just Plug system. That's what I use for all my lighting on the layout. This is a light and hub set. So this one came with a couple of lights. These are the LED lights here. We're not going to use those because the roomette kit came with its own lights. But 4 rooms, 4 lights. So that's going to basically take a light hub here. And I've explained these before in some past videos, but each light hub can plug in up to 4 lights, or you can put in the sharing device, which will branch off and let you plug in multiple lights to be controlled by one dimmer. But you can see here, each one has a dimmer to control each light, and then it just takes power in. So on the back here, if you look, you can either do it like this with the power plug going straight into the hub and then your lights go out, or you need an expansion hub like this blue one here, and I'll take you over to the layout. That gets plugged into the plug, and then each light hub comes out of that. So that's what we're going to do. I've got the extension plug cord cable here. So we'll plug in one end right there. That'll be our power. And then this end is going to go into that expansion hub over there at the layout. So let's head over there. All right, over here at the layout, sorry it's a little dim under here, but as you can see, I've got a light hub here, a light hub here, and then over there I've got one. Now that pretty much controls the engine house, the houses up on the hill, and then this one splits between the station, the tower, and then this one here controls some of the other industries over there. So we're going to have this other light hub. We'll probably mount it right here, or heck, I can even put it in between here. They come with stick-on adhesives. You can just, you know, stick them anywhere you want. I could even put it up here if I'd like. But I've got one more plug in this expansion hub right there. And that's where we're going to plug that plug, so we'll have power for our new light hub. So let's bring the building over here and get it plugged in there, and we'll see if it lights up. Okay, the moment of truth. I've got the plug there in the expansion hub coming to the light hub, and I've got the wires plugged in. And just a note here, I painted the roof hatch a flat gray, and I painted the stack gray, that same gray, but I put black around the little vent part there on top. So it's still gluing a little bit. I'm trying to adjust it to keep it straight up and down while the glue sets. And so there. But let's go ahead. We'll do the first floor. Turn the light on. There we go. I can see the couch in there. And the door. Let's go around to the side window. Yep, you can see in the window there. See the door across the way. That's pretty cool. All right, let's go. The second one should be second floor. There we go. You can see the little bed in there, and you can see the thing. Let's see, you can't see the kid too well. You can kind of see him in there on the bed. Maybe we see him better from this window. Nah, that's too bad. I should have checked that out a little better. I could have put him on one side or the other where he'd show through the windows a little better, but that's all right. Live and learn. All right, so that's full on, those two, and then I can, of course, dim each one as I want to. You know, they don't have to be real super bright. All right, let's turn the building around. We'll check out the back ones. All right, so you can see I still got the lights on in the front, so let's come around the back here, and we'll do number 3 on the dial, and that is the downstairs pantry. You can see the jars back there in the cabinets. I know TV Tom's put a table in there with a guy sitting in it. That's pretty cool. I didn't do that, but that's the only window you see that through. And then the 4th one should be this corner bedroom up here, and you see that in 2 windows in the corner, and the bed right there. And you can see the pillow right there back in the on the bed back in there. So that's full bright, and then that's about 3/4 of the way, and same with that down there. That's full on bright, and that's about 3/4. So there you go. We've got a lighted building here. I think that looks pretty good. Came out great. All right. So the next thing that's going to happen with this is we've got to get the wires down through the layout like we did with that building underneath, and then we'll bring those over to connect to the hub over here. That's going to be a whole show on it in and of itself of doing that. So for now, I'm just going to unplug it. You know, of course, let everything dry real good, but we're going to unplug it, put it back in its place over there for now, and then next video we'll get it all wired up, get it in place. And in the meantime, I'll get the roomette for the other building, and it would probably be a good idea to get all of those wires run at the same time. So that'll be next on the agenda coming up. So that's it for this week. Well, thank you so much for watching, and thank you all who subscribe and like. Really appreciate it. The channel's really taken off. I've never expected it to do as well as it has, and that's because you guys watch and support all my work here, so I really appreciate it. Well, thank you, and we will see you guys next video. Take care.